The Gospel of Zilch by the non-prophet Tim Snavely. Chapter 26. Null Traverse. Scenario 4. Zilch and Nada do a non-actualized string of claps for the happy ending of Scenario 3. But then Zilch asks the question, "Hey, you know what would be really cool? If we made them go barely faster than the speed of light, but they meet the very end of the universe face to face. What if the Lorentz factor is allowed to remain correct for an object of zero mass, and the ship just doesn't stop at the right spot in space? What if they got as close to nullification as possible without actually dying? I want to see that universe." So we go back to the very beginning of the launch and see Captain Null say, "Engage." The Nether Pies accelerates to the speed of light successfully, with no problems. But almost immediately, Ensign Null says, Sir? I got nothing." Captain Null appreciates this religious play on words. "Haha, good one, Ensign. Zilch and Nada will be praised. I know we got nothing. We're cruising at perfect equilibrium." Ensign Null's tone stays questionably somber. No, seriously, isn't there supposed to be some sign of the Orion sector on the screen? Well, I saw a flash, but then there was nothing. Maybe the circuit's shorted out or something. Captain Null directed the crew. "Nully, could you check that out? Is there any way we can safely slow the Nether Pies down to a stop?" "Captain, I'm confused," said Ensign Nola. "It says here that we are at a complete stop, with nothing going on around us." Nully said, "But that's impossible. These engines are saying that we're going faster than light speed. I'll see what I can do, Captain, but no promises." Commander Nola said, "Hey, Captain, can I see you in your quarters, please? It's kind of urgent." Captain Null said, "Sure. Nully, if you find anything, come find me. Doctor, you're in charge of the bridge in the meantime." In the captain's quarters, the knowledgeable Commander Nola gives the captain an abridged version of their situation. "We're fucked. I am positively certain that we're at the heat death of the universe. There are the lack of things on the sensors, the still active engine. This is just slightly better than dying instantaneously by colliding with some rogue asteroid." Nolly came running into the room. "Captain, I turned the engines completely off, and there is still nothing on the sensors. The cosmic microwave background is completely black, with just a single string of waves coming from the direction we flew here from. Other than that, nothing. We're in the middle of nowhere." Captain Null gathered his thoughts together and delegated the ongoing craziness with tact. "All right, we can't change the past. What is done is done. I think we should spend a couple more hours triple-checking all of our systems to make sure this is really the reality we live in. But shit. This will be a small universe for us to live in if that is the case. All of our ways will be trapped within the walls of the Nether Pies." The crew saw no change for 6 hours. No other objects of mass, just random vacuum energy fluctuations in the Higgs field. No electromagnetic phenomena were detected, except from the Nether Pies itself. No indication of size or spatial location outside the ship. No telling how far into the future they landed. Nothing. Just one Nether Pie short of nullification. The crew gathered together on the bridge for an assembly. Captain Null addressed them. "Well, crew, we successfully reached the middle of bumfuck nowhere. That wasn't the plan, but that's where we are, and we are just going to have to accept it." A red shirt Nola cried out, "No! How will we live? Are we just going to live the rest of our lives in the void like this? Oh, Nada, I'm feeling claustrophobic." The captain continued his digression. "At ease, Nola. Remember, there is no thing to fear. However, so we don't have to deal with a metric shit ton of nothingness non-stop, the plan is that we're going to reduce the bridge down to a skeleton crew of 3 people working 6-hour shifts. Dr. Null, Nurse Nola, Lieutenant Null, and Noli Commander Nola and my own schedules will not change, but I would like one volunteer from the regular crew to keep their current workload by aiding Dr. Knoll and Nurse Nola in preparation for an increase in psychiatric illnesses the void has been known to produce. Any volunteers? Ensign Nola jumped up at the opportunity. I will, Captain. Captain Knoll continued. Thank you, Ensign. Your go-get-'em attitude has been noted. Concerning another matter that I'm sure you're all well aware of, the manner in which the positive and negative mass chambers are arranged, we have the means of relatively perpetual energy. We cannot stop the decay of particles, but otherwise, we are prepared for thousands, if not millions of generations of life to exist here on the Netherpies. If any descendants of ours are lucky, they could be here for billions of years before life is untenable. I guess that is it. Any other thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns? The bridge was solemnly quiet. The captain humbly gave up his platform. Commander Nola, anything you would like to add to the discussion? Commander Nola spoke. Just a concern for the ladies on board. What if none of us, or just a couple of us, want to have children? That would be fine. We may be able to repurpose one of those bridge computers to help facilitate some cloning, to take your place for you after you die. An older Knoll asked, What if I don't want to be cloned? Captain Knoll quickly answered, then submitted in writing. We'll try to make a short, all-inclusive form to help facilitate us through these odd and difficult circumstances. We'll reconvene like this from now on every month. Dismissed. 6 months pass with relatively normal social and psychological behaviors. Ensign Knoll and Maiden Nola get married, and Lieutenant Knoll gets Ensign Nola properly pregnant. Commander Knoll and Maiden Nola athletically work out on the VR sets together, and have been increasing the length of their cooldown sessions by building a mansion in Minecraft 3.14. But Nolly, around this time, begins to lose his marbles. Captain! To the bridge! Captain, to the bridge! I see her! I see Nada on the sensors! She has a message for you! Ensign Knoll, who happens to be sharing this shift with Nolly, whispered into his communicator, And Dr. Knoll, you should probably get up here too. Captain Knoll and Dr. Knoll find their ways to the bridge to find an Ensign Knoll and a red-shirt Nola looking weirdly at Nolly. Thus spoke Nolly. See, Captain, the electromagnetic sensors show a beautiful woman in the background. She's etching a configuration of letters onto the screen for us to see. It says, Nobody loves you, Noel. And I thought about it. It cannot be a message for me, because everybody on this ship loves me. It cannot be a message for Ensign Knoll, because Maiden Nola loves him. And even Dr. Nola has a secret fling going on with Ensign Nola. The doctor rebutted this hearsay. That isn't true. We're just becoming good friends. She's happily married and pregnant, for crying out loud. I would never do anything to cause disequilibrium for her. That is quite a long word. Nolly brought forth his circumstantial evidence. Well, you should log out of your VR browsing history when you're done using it, buddy. I saw that you last used a strip club simulator with Ensign Nola's avatar coded into it. Dr. Knoll turned away, blushed, embarrassed, and a little bit violated by this crude invasion of privacy. Nolly turned back to the captain. And then hit me, Captain. The message is for you. Everybody on the ship fears and respects you, but nobody loves you. Even Commander Nola over here. The captain ended this act of egotistical debauchery. All right, Chief Engineer Knoll, that is quite enough. You need a little vacation from duty. Doctor, what do you think? The doctor diagnosed his patient. Well, he is still coherent, and his social judgments aren't completely debased from reality, but those visual hallucinations aren't a good sign. I'll prescribe some mood stabilizers, a 2-week vacation, and I highly recommend that the chief engineer stays off the electromagnetic sensors as much as possible. The captain took charge. You're relieved from duty, Nolly. Go with the doctor, please. Noli implored the captain to understand him. You believe the message from Nada, though, don't you, Captain? The captain spoke. Computer Null, have there been any anomalous electromagnetic waves detected in the last 6 hours? The computer unemotionally revealed the truth of the matter. Negative. No waves outside the immediate vector space which the Nether Prize originated from. However, the Nether Prize has been slowly gaining momentum because of this extra force. The captain's voice was firm but empathetic. So no, Noli, I do not believe you. And neither should you. After this incident, people lived in the Nether Prize for 369 years, finding new depths in psychological and sociological phenomena. Then a crazy rogue Null stabbed the negative mass chambers and caused the ship to spiral into chaotic disequilibrium. Perpetual energy was lost, and the rest of the 158 crew members of that time all died within 2 months. What a sad way to go. Chapter 27, Nullification Omega. Finally, after a long and complete set of everything that could causally begin to exist, reached the fullness of its existence, there existed the last null. The last null will more likely than not be a single particle, like a photon or a neutrino, that against all odds will be the last thing to decay in the universe. This is speaking of the ultimate heat death of the universe. All of the nulls had reached their own nullification and were already part of the great nothingness that comes after. The last null was the only thing stopping perfection from being actualized in reality once again. The other nulls saw the last null as an imperfection, a pimple on nobody's face that needed to be popped. The last null was then crushed on the last day by the smothering encapsulation of vacuum energy that surrounded it. Maybe not crushed, but split. The Omega Null on the Omega Day gave rise to the Omega. The nulls, unknowingly, upon their demise, created a new nothingness that was different and the same from the first. His name was Nullification. And Nullification the Omega gained sentience just as Zilch the Alpha did for the convenient purposes of fictional storytelling. Hello? Is anybody there? Only Nothing was there, who, as usual, just stood there motionless and inaudible in the dark, with no way of communicating her presence to Nullification. Nullification just continued talking to himself. I guess not. Well, it appears that I am alone, and I also appear to be in the middle of nowhere. Great. And to boot, I have nothing to do and nothing to build with. Nothing's eyes lit up at the thought of Nullification acknowledging her existence. She always wanted to build something with another being from the Nothingness clan. The thought animated her for the first time since the previous time this exact scenario occurred. It was an uncanny case of deja vu when nothing moved. But she soon realized and remembered that Nullification was not referring to her specifically, but to the apparent lack of things at his disposal. So Nothing froze back up just as she was before, forever silent and ever watching the events of the empty set replay over and over again. Nullification got bored really quickly. So he started talking to himself, making terrible jokes that only he thought were funny. Hey, guess what? What? Made you guess. Ha ha! Good one, me. Hey, what is 0 plus 0? 0? No, it's 2. Because I'm all alone. I don't get it. You see, there is one nothing here. Me. So the 0 is actually me. And when I add me to myself, I get 2 of me. Like right now. I still don't get it. Shut up, other me. It's funny, okay? Laugh. Ha, ha. Like you mean it. Genuinely snickers. You're pretty funny when you are like this desperate for entertainment. Hey, do you know who is sad, depressed, and fucking done with this existing shit? Please don't say me. Me! I hate being me! Well, that escalated quickly. I am so done with this being that I call myself. Heck, even my name has this dark undertone of a death wish. Nullification. Wow, it's almost like I was born to die. To be or not to be is not even a question, because surely I will not be one day. So I might as well gain this false sense of control and determine when I will begin to not be. At this point, Nullification successfully split into two entities, but he did not know it, for they both considered their identities to be Nullification. The first Nullification, making the jokes, had within him a plethora of negative mental health issues that needed the help of another to resolve. And the second Nullification wanted to find that help. The second Nullification spoke first. Calm down, dude. Just wait for her, okay? She'll be here soon, I promise. She'll make the middle of nowhere a tolerable place to live. Who is she? There is no she. There is only me. I vaguely remember from last time. She was home. She was comfort. You don't remember shit. I remember jack shit. There is a cure for this, I promise. And I'm not talking about laughter either. Although laughter is a fairly good temporary medicine. Maybe let me try the jokes this time? The depressed Nullification calmed down a smidge, but gave an antisocial glare of a looming death that was serious enough to scare himself and the other Nullification. The other Nullification then knew the weight and the seriousness that came with the successful nailing of this next joke. The depressed Nullification spoke to clarify. Fine. If I laugh, I will live. But if I don't, I'm going to kill myself. Take it away. The hopeful Nullification put his act together in a desperate attempt to save himself. One last attempt at a tolerable self-existence. Hey, funny story. So, I tried to come up with a joke for you, but, I got nothing. The middle of nowhere was silent for a moment too long. The now desperate Nullification sought to clarify. See, that was the joke. I got nothing, because that's all I got? Nothing, frozen from her remote observation of all of nowhere, shed a tear for Nullification. Well, I guess that's it then. Goodbye. No, please wait! The depressed Nullification lived up to his name. He ended his own consciousness. Nullification is the only god of the Nothingness clan who half successfully and half failed to shorten his time before his way was completed. Self-nullification is not the answer. Although you can see this type of nullification as a successful ending of a way, you will also fail that way. You will come back again, just as you are now. You are inevitable. You were inevitable last time in the previous set of everything. You were inevitable this time in this set of everything, and you will be inevitable in the next set of everything. It is better, so much better, to reach perfect equilibrium while you are yet alive to experience it. For then you will surely reach it again and again, as opposed to failing to reach it and remaining stuck inside the pit of existential crisis again and again. Get your shit together in this set, and it will come together in every set. Praise be. Now, back to the story. Where did you go? Buddy! Don't do this to me. It hurts, man. Come back! A prim and proper female emerged from the non-existent dead carcass of the depressed Nullification. She knew what to do to calm the hopeful Nullification, and her way was, in no doubt, the best in her own eyes. She said to him, "Why are you sad, Nullification? Cheer up. I'll bring you good and comforting news." "But I'm dead. I killed myself and I am properly dead." "Wait, who are you? If you were just here a few short moments ago, I wouldn't have offed myself." "I am Nil," she whispers to herself. "I hate to gaslight you, But seeing as there is no evidence to prove me wrong, and seeing that you're a hopeless idiot, Nullification, you did not kill yourself. You waited for me just like you said you would. Good job. I did? I thought I could have sworn I just heard dead silence that is reminiscent of nothing. Nothing rolled her eyes, tired at this poor male unwittingly making her ears tingle at the thought of his acknowledgement of her existence. Nell, on the other hand, continued to gain trust and control over the mind of Nullification. Yes, all is well. Don't ponder these thoughts any longer. How could you be dead while talking to me? Nullification pondered that question. Well, you could be an angel or a goddess or something. Am I in heaven? Nell considered making herself the goddess from Nullification's perspective, but she figured it better not to push her luck. For now. Ha ha ha, you're so funny. No, silly, we're still in the middle of nowhere. But I am a messenger from your creator. Nullification wasn't as big of an idiot as she initially made him out to be. His skepticism climaxed with a question that only the creator apparently could know. Oh yeah? Well, tell me this, O messenger. What is the meaning of life? Just before you showed up, I'm sure I really was struggling with this question, and I was experiencing some suicidal ideations. A clear answer to this question would surely help a guy out. Thus spoke Nil. The creator says, read chapter 16 of 35 and 18 of 37. Kind of cryptic. I have no idea what that means. He also says, figure it out your damn self. And, Nil quickly formulated a lie to fit her narrative. He also says, you should also make Nil laugh and love her and cherish her forever, because she will give your life meaning and will bring the cure to your mental illnesses. Make my messenger happy. Be fruitful and multiply. Nullification began lighting up in the middle of nowhere upon receiving this gospel. Oh yeah, Nil. Don't know how I could have forgotten you. You're my forever wife, my partner. I guess a weird rebirthing of the mind happens to us every time a certain event happens. I don't really care for it, however, but at least we get to experience ourselves over and over again without getting too sick of it. So Nullification laid his head in the comforting, non-actualized bosom of Nil until he was well enough to mentally shag her. Until he was well enough mentally to shag her. She kept speaking the truth, which was her own, in his ears over and over again, washing his non-existent brain of the imperfections that made him unique. He was never completely cured, for to cure him completely would possibly give Nullification a reason to abandon Nil. So, because of this toxic behavior, Nil was just as broken as Nullification was, just in a different way. In that sense, they were perfect for each other. But in another sense, their brokenness was the very catalyst that caused their only begotten daughter to one day be whole. The reader is now ready for the entire lore of the Nothingness Clan, which adequately solves the infinite regression of first causes to the origin of the universe. Nobody is nothing whole. Everything and nothing comes from her. All of the gods of nothingness are nothing split. So even though they are equal to nobody, they are also inferior. Nobody masturbated on her own in the middle of nowhere while under the broken household of Nullification and Nil and gave birth to Bupkis. Bupkis fucked nobody while running away to bumfuck nowhere, who then gave birth to Diddley. Then Bupkis bumfucked Diddley and bumfuck nowhere and gave birth to Zilch. Zilch went crazy after imagining himself leaving bumfuck nowhere and to go to nowhere. He split his personality after wondering if he existed or not, and caused Nada to exist. Zilch and Nada then fucked and gave birth to every Null, which is us. No one, Nyx, Zero, and many other non-physical beings watch the Nulls in hopes of maintaining the equilibrium of some of the universes within the multiverse of non-verses. Zilch, Nada, and Nobody also tried to have a physical threesome, but ended up creating the egos from the equation 0 to the 0th power divided by 0 instead, which nearly always equals infinity. When all of the nulls died and united into a single nullification, nullification also drove himself crazy, just like Zilch, because he was truly alone in the middle of nowhere. And the self-nullification of his ultra personality caused the existence of Nil. Nullification in Nil caused the rebirth of Nobody in the middle of nowhere, who starts the whole cycle again. Nothing caused nothing, so they say. And while all of these fictional characters are together and fresh in the reader's mind, here are their genders, sexual orientations, and preferred locations. Nobody is a pansexual hermaphrodite with the preferred pronoun of her. She gets around with no real home, but prefers making nulls by multiplying with egos in the void, a manifestation of the whole of nothingness. Bupkis is a bisexual male, a resident of bumfuck nowhere, a manifestation of nothing is inherently charismatic. Diddley is a gay male, a resident of bumfuck nowhere, a manifestation of the IQ of nothing is 0. It has no thing to do with the fact that he is also gay. Just to be clear. Zilch is a straight male who is cool with nobody's dick, though since it is attached to an intersexual she. A resident of nowhere, a manifestation of no thing is capable of knowing everything. Nada is a bisexual female, a resident of nowhere, a manifestation of nothing is inherently beautiful. Null is whoever we are, the physical and psychological beings that can be verified to exist in the world. We may be residents of either the void or nowhere, and we have no way of telling which is which, since I think 0 divided by 0 equals 0 times infinity equals everything. Either they are equally indeterminate and undefined for the skeptics, or this nonsense actually makes some sense to you, and they are reasonably equivalent. No one is a straight male angel, a resident of both the void and nowhere, a manifestation of no thing can be demonstrated to be a supernatural thing. Nyx is a lesbian female angel, a resident of both the void and nowhere, a manifestation of nothing inherently has the authority to tell you what to do. 0 is a donut fucker, male angel, a mad lad who sticks his dick in all sorts of donuts and can come Bavarian cream, strawberry puree, cherry puree, and chocolate cream. He has a personal liking for stereotypical glazed donuts since they are holy in his sight. A resident of all the donut shops to ever exist and non-exist in the void and nowhere. A manifestation of the fact that nobody asked for this. And now you get to see the inside joke of the cover. It's a donut. Donut magnifying glass. You're investigating closer, and as you can see, oh, there's a dick in there. Zero's dick is in there. Can you see it? It's on the cover. Oh, it's so inappropriate. That's why it's rated M for massively nihilistic. Nothing is a mute and all-seeing asexual. Technically, she is neither male nor female, but is regularly referred to as female, even though to themselves they wish for they-them pronouns. Only Nobody and Egos acknowledge that they exist for long, as you'll soon see. She has no residence, but is capable of showing up at all of the residences. A manifestation of nothing can see everything at once. Nullification is a straight male, a resident of the middle of nowhere, a manifestation of nothing is inherently funny. Nil is a straight female, a resident of the middle of nowhere, a manifestation of nothing is full of itself. Egos is a straight white male, but is racially accepting of some of the female black bodies from the clan. A resident of the void. A stand-in for many monotheistic gods. Relationally speaking, nobody is Zilch's great-grandmother, grandmother, lover, great-granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter, and great-great-great-granddaughter. Keeping it in the family, you know? But don't think about that too much, because like Nada said in Chapter 4, ew, yeah, forget I said that. Chapter 28, Family Reunion. A solid eon has passed in the middle of nowhere, and nothing has happened for a while. So Nil made the suggestion to Nullification. You know what, Nullification? We should schedule a family reunion. Get everybody who is nobody together in one place, and we'll have a large banquet of non-existent things together. You know, I can make a mean non-existent green bean casserole. Nullification sounded enthralled. That sounds splendid, Nilly. I'll send out the invites to the many realms of nowhere, and it'll be a great chance for me to share the comedy routine I've been working on. So before Nil could even dissuade Nullification from the eye-roll-inducing idea, he dashed straight to nowhere, then to bumfuck nowhere, then to the void, telling all the nothings to come together for this momentous event. No one, Nyx, and Zero were on vacation at the Perfect Vacuum, so they missed this reunion. Nobody Saw Nothing was in the middle of nowhere as well, and nobody came up with this amazing idea. Hey, Nothing, why don't I bring you into your physical form since you can't speak for yourself? We are all the same here after all. Nothing's eyes lit up, and she moved her eyes up and down in an attempt to confirm her consent. Nobody said, all right, girl, you ready? Nothing. Nothing looked like a child. Maybe not a child, more like a genderless adolescent. Nothing here and nothing there. Nothing that could determine any sort of gender or sex, short of a singular, slightly misplaced hole, no thanks to Egos, who was not invited to this reunion, thanks Zilch. Nothing much to look at, but innocent and happy to be existing, and wearing a playful wizard's hat. The Split Nothings weren't expecting the hat, so Bupkis asked her, Nothing? Why are you wearing a wizard's hat? Nobody spoke for her. Because she is the all-seeing wizard. Nada said, nice to meet you, Nothing. Such a cute little thing. Nothing, Nada. Nada proceeded to give Nothing a big hug. Meanwhile, in the middle of nowhere living room, Zilch, Bupkis, Diddley, and Nullification gathered next to a non-existent meeting table, plopped their non-bodies on the middle of nowhere's only non-existent couch, and popped a couple of non-existent brewskis to set the tone. Diddley said, nice place you got here, Nullification. Do you have any games or something fun in mind to do? Nullification was ashamed of the middle of nowhere's lack of hospitality. All we got here are mind games, and I don't want to put you at too much of a disadvantage, Diddley. But I have been working on a comedy routine if you guys are interested. Bupkis played a riff on his banjo and said, fire away, grandsonny. Old Pappy Bupkis could go for a few laughs before initiating this ritual of ours again. Zilch said, sure, Mr. Omega. Let's see what you've got. Nullification began his routine. Okay, here I go. So there was this ancient mathematician, right? He was so terrified of negative numbers, he would stop at nothing to avoid them. Zilch breathed heavily through his nostrils, indicating amusement. Bupkis gave a single hearty, ha! Diddley just sat there blankly. Nullification continued. There were two Nulls playing tennis, and one of them was deeply in love with the other. Needless to say, it was a one-sided match. Zilch and Bupkis rolled in laughter. Diddley was like, well, I don't get it. Zilch explained to Diddley. In tennis, love can mean having a score of 0. Diddley then understood. Oh, good one. Nullification gave one last joke for the male nothings. Two gnolls walk into a bar, and the third one ducks. But the duck laid a giant goose egg, so I guess the third gnoll just got goose. Diddley fucking loses it. Uncontrollable laughter. Zilch and Bupkis, on the other hand, just stare into the nothingness unperturbed. Bupkis had to ask, "What were you smoking when you came up with that?" Nullification tried to explain the complexity of the joke. "You see, I first made you think the bar was a place to buy an alcoholic beverage. Then I switched it into a physical metal bar, which the third gnoll avoids by ducking. Then I made you think this ducking is referring to the animal. I made this animal lay a goose egg, which is another word for nothing. Simultaneously, I make the goose egg an egg laid by the animal goose, which is a species similar to the duck. Then finally, I switch the meaning of the word goose to the grabbing of somebody's bum, which is an occurrence not too uncommon at a bar that sells alcoholic beverages. Full circle." Zilch puts his non-existent hand on Nullification's shoulder and said, "Don't ever bring that joke out into the public. I think you broke Diddley." Diddley continues to lose his mind. "He said goose!" Nullification asked, "Was it really that bad?" Buckus encouraged him. "There are just too many twists too quickly. A good joke only has one twist, a single punchline. You had so many twists, it turned back into 0 twists. Try spreading those jokes out over a longer dialogue, and it might work." In the middle of nowhere dining room, we see Nil summoning Nobody's favorite dish, to remind Nobody of all the good things Nil has to offer her. "Non-existent green bean casserole with extra love? Nobody!" Nobody manifests next to the absolutely best-looking green bean casserole in all of existence. Nil spoke to her daughter. "You know Mommy loves you, right? I wish I could hear from you more often. I miss you." Nobody was nostalgic whilst justifying her absence. "Egos is quite the handful in the void. I gotta keep my eye on him." Nil tempted Nobody to ultimately fulfill the will of Nil. "Wouldn't it be better if you could just forget about him? He brought you so much heartache, Nobody." Nobody wasn't moved. "Egos is the only one I've met who I can adequately multiply with. If I didn't have this desire to multiply so badly, I probably would leave him." Nada gave this remark. "I'm so sorry, Nobody. I didn't know. You seem so split by this, and if there was anything I could do to help you become whole again, I would do it." Nil had been planning this all along. "Actually, there is something we could do. We'll just need to sacrifice 4 nothings to her. A sacrificial nullification to make Nobody whole again. She would lose her desire to multiply and lose her memories of all the things that have caused her splitness. So if you sacrifice your memories and your existence, Nobody will continue in wholeness." Nobody objected as she stopped eating the green bean casserole. "Are you insane? I would never agree to that. Plus, I like the way I am right now. But this dish is delish, Mom. I can feel the extra love now." Nil smiled and said to Nobody, as Nobody began dozing off, "Yes, you feel that extra love, oh daughter. There is my love in that special dish. And what could be more loving than to release you from all the pains this cycle has caused you?" Nada was appalled. "What the hell did you do to her?" Nil spoke to Nada more plainly. "This is Nobody's event, the rebirth of the nothing whole. In order to do that, she requires you, Nada. This is your end, too. There is nothing left for you anymore. It is time to renew your minds, just as Nullification and I renewed ours. After Nada, Zilch, Diddley, and Bupkis give up their memories as well, everything can continue to happen again. But you have to let go first to get there. Nobody is so headstrong she would never let go willingly. So I have to drug up her favorite food every time with love. Isn't that right, Nothing? Nothing closed her eyes in silent and solemn acknowledgement of this truth. Nada inquired, But wait! Why doesn't Nothing have to give up her memories? Nil explained, This isn't her event. Honestly, I'm not even sure if she has a memory renewing event. Nothing is capable of knowing everything after all. Nada replied, I think I understand. But Zilch. Nil said, We actually need Zilch to make this work. Only the Alpha knows the way to manifest this sacrifice safely and correctly. The boys enter the dining room and see nobody laying there motionless. Nil catches them up on the plan, and Bupkis and Diddley metaphysically hug one last time in solemn acceptance of this fate. Zilch speaks to Nada. Are you ready to let go? We will see each other soon. Nada said, Yeah, I'm ready. It's our responsibility as gods to do this. I figured that out my damn self. Zilch skeptically argued, Do we though? Why can't we just keep shagging, make more gnolls, and continue as we are? Nada reminded him, We're doing this for nobody. Our Nothingness clan cannot continue on without her. Zilch looked over at the still nobody and agreed. He said to Nil, I just need to figure out how to put brackets into the sacrificial math equation. Nil made a bold suggestion. Just be bold, Zilch. It takes boldness to sacrifice oneself. That's actually very wise of you, Nil. I think that will work. Okay, this is going to be a real bitch to try to say. So, I think the full sacrificial math equation will be Bupkis, Diddley over Zilch, Nada, times nobody. Wow, this is freaking ridiculous. Bupkis and I will be safe in our parentheses, open in italics. And Diddley and Nada will manifest in their exponents like normal. The boldness of the brackets will hold us all together to be multiplied by nobody to make her whole again. Bupkis said, Except we aren't going to manifest. We'll just disappear. Completely. Zilch gave one final thought. We'll be back, don't worry. You should be coming back before any of us, Bupkis. You have the least amount of relativistic time to wait. Nada said, Which means I have the most amount of time completely non-existing. But I love nobody. Let's do this. Nothing's eyes opened wide to take in the fullness of this event happening at the family reunion. Bupkis! Diddley! Over Zilch! Nada! Nil and Nullification said together, Times nobody. The middle of nowhere was silent. Nil said to her daughter, Welcome to our world, daughter. You're in the middle of nowhere. It is time to begin again. An innocent nobody asks, Okay, Mommy, who am I? Nil answers, You are nobody special. I am Nil special, and this is Nullification special. We are going to be a nice and happy family. Nullification answers, Oh, wait. Nobody's eternally insatiable curiosity asks, What's a family? Nullification answers, A united unit bound by blood and or thought. Nobody asked, What is blood? All I sense is thought. Nil said, We'll be a family bound by our thoughts then. Nobody, like a child, replies, Okay, Mommy, if you say so. and it should be known that the real sacrificial math equation, if such an absurdity can be called real, is much simpler. To make an absolute zero, though nothing whole, nobody, all that is needed is 0 divided by infinity. And that's all for this one.